The last method we'll look at is factoring quadratic trinomials. Quadratic trinomials will always appear as an x squared term with, that should be an x. There we go. An x term and a constant term. So we should see those three terms with the highest degree being squared. Quadratic trinomials should always factor into the form. Let me give me just a second here. Actually, I'm going to pause the video while I do this. So a quadratic trinomial will always factor into two linear binomials, the form ax plus b and cx plus d. Now the reason for the red and blue ink will become apparent in just a moment. When factoring quadratic trinomials, you want to think backwards. You want to think about what values a, b, c, d will let you get back to the original polynomial when you multiply through. So let's go ahead and multiply through using just these variables. When we multiply through, so distributing the ax term throughout and then the b term throughout, we should end up with acx squared plus adx plus bcx plus bd. If you need to, take a moment, confirm this for yourself, and then restart the video. What we should also notice is that these two middle terms, adx and the bcx, are like terms. So, in comparing it to the original trinomial, acx squared is our first term, adx plus bcx is our second term, and bd is our third term. And in fact, we can go ahead and reduce this second term a little bit right now. And what that will end up being is AD plus BC and then that all times x. That becomes our second term. Alright, so let's compare this back to our example. This means that with our example of 6x squared minus 13x minus 8, well, 6x squared needs to be composed of AC. So let's go ahead and figure out all the factors of 6. And those would be 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. We then want to figure out the factors of 8, because that will be our BD. The possibilities for 8 are 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. Okay. Once we have all our factors figured out, the next really important step is to realize this negative sign here. And this means that your ADBC will actually be subtracted. It's not going to be AD plus BC, but actually AD minus BC. So we need to figure out how to pair up the red terms with the blue terms and get them to subtract to be a negative 13. Well, negative 13 is a pretty high number. So let's look at our options. Let's look first at the 1/6 and 1/8. We could combine 1 times 1 and then 6 times 8, which will give us a 1, and then 6 times 8. Sorry, audio cut out for there for a moment. So 6 times 8 is 48. Well, clearly the difference is not 13. So let's try something else. How about we stick with the 1 and 6, but this time we'll try 2 and 4. We get 2 here, 24 here. That still doesn't work. Okay. To see the other options that we're going to try, you're going to have to look at the next video because we're out of time in this one.